Hey everybody, it's Marshall Monk here, and this is going to be my Justice League official Heroes trailer breakdown. Now this is one of the best trailers, not only of the Justice League ad campaign, probably of the entire year. That's right guys, I loved this trailer, and mainly captured everything that it needed to for the movie, while also capturing what differentiates the DCEU, or whatever they're going to be calling it. I'm just going to call it the DCEU for now, and Marvel, right? It shows you the differences. That's what people have been wanting, is kind of like the differences between them, because it feels like Marvel's copying, or DC's copying, but this trailer shows you they're not, right? But let's get started with the breakdown. So right here, if you're not totally captured with this shot, I don't know what your problem is, right? I mean, this shot is beautiful. I don't know who shot this and who colored it and who put it in post, but it looks excellent. I mean, the whole entire photo here, and I love how the dead plants here, and then like there's the very lush green crops, right? It really shows you, because this is a dream that Lois is having, it really shows you the inconsistency throughout the dream, right? It's like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess it could kind of happen in real life, right? But it's just like, it really shows you the differences between reality logic and non-reality logic, right? And then of course we see here, Lois just looks beautiful. I mean, Amy Adams looks stunning here. I love how she looks. Her hair, like the kind of like the city dressed, but you know, she also looks like the country dress. She's kind of like a mix between them now, like when she's on the farm here, but she still kind of looks like a city gal. So I really love how they made her look for this dream sequence, right? Because it looks like she's living the dream, right? It's so cool, and she just looks really great in this shot. So go Amy Adams, you're doing a good job. Oh, I love Lois Lane. Anyway, so now we see Clark Kent, and everyone got upset about this that I heard of, because they were like, well, they showed Superman. Well, they really didn't show Superman. They showed Clark Kent, which is the difference, right? It's like they're two different people. And I love how they showed Clark here, because it really gives you that feeling that he's gone, right? Because he's not in the Superman suit, he's not in the black suit, he's just Clark. And it really shows you, wow, he lost both Clark and Superman in one foul swoop, right? Because they're two different personalities. So I really like that quite a bit. Now going back to the real world, of course, how Lois wakes up and Clark's not really there. So this is cool, because I really like how they're diving into the feeling of Lois losing everything. She lost her entire future, her entire life, because of Clark's death and what happened in... Oh, sorry, that scared me. And what happened in BVS. Sorry, something got knocked over on the shelf here. But anyway, it was really cool seeing them kind of show that in this trailer. And then of course we have the Parademons versus the Themyscirans. Love it. Now this looks like there's no volcanic attack going on here, so this is probably the start of that battle with the Parademons. But it looks really nice, because you can see them flying and everything. You know those are the Themyscirans there, and it leads into the volcanic fight that we see later. I wonder if this is actually going to be the opening of the movie, so they can go back and kind of like explain Darkseid's, how he found this planet, right? How he found Earth. And then this is the actual volcanic battle. But what I love about this is that this is probably some early human life, right? So this is probably the early caveman people getting turned into parademons. And that's probably one of the best things I've seen from the trailers, right? Is just going back and showing this fight. This fight alone in every single trailer has been really interesting, but now they've added to that level of excitement seeing this. And I definitely think that because we're seeing the early men become parademons, that's the beginning of the movie. And then here we are with Batman, alright? And they kind of show all the characters in this one section. But here we are with Batman. There's the Bat Signal, the Bat Wing, the Bat Plane, whatever you want to call it. It's had different names. And what I love about it so much is that this is really Batman, right? You get a really big Arkham City feel from this one shot. And what I loved about this Batman, Ben Affleck, rather than Nolan's Batman with Bale, is that Snyder shows the fantastical, the spectacle, I guess you could say, the big spectacle of Batman, right? Is that it's not a realistic world. Batman has these crazy, weird vehicles, and he has this bat signal, and the city is big and lit up, right? It's not, and it looks like Arkham City, the game, right? It's not supposed to look like Bale's world. So I love it. I mean, even though I love Bale's Batman, I really do love what Snyder's doing here, because it's actually Batman-esque. And of course we have this shot of Aquaman. I love what they've done here. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because I cannot wait for James Wan's movie, right, of Aquaman, his directorial debut in the DCEU. I'm excited for that, because this is what we're going to be getting in that movie throughout the entire film. And that's just beautiful. I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. But I do love Jason Momoa here as Aquaman, as always. So I can't wait, again, to see that movie. And then Wonder Woman standing up on this statue. So Wonder Woman, I guess, represents Europe now? I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of funny that she's representing Europe, because that's actually, I think that's in Europe, that statue. There's an actual statue of that in real life. That's, at first I was like, wait, is that built in her honor for what happened, of her, like, saving people recently from Wonder Woman, like, the end of the movie? No, this is actually a real statue. So she's standing on it, and she's like, hey, this statue looks kind of like me. It looks exactly like me, so I'm just going to stand on it for some reason. I thought that was hilarious. And then next, this is what I wanted to talk about. So Snyder recently came out with an article about this, or at least someone interviewed him about it. So you can see Cyborg here is, kind of going all Tony Stark, and he's got his holograms. I think there's maybe some parademon stuff on there. But what you can notice in the background is that you can notice a football picture, you can notice Victor's father, right? And what Snyder said recently, and I think in an interview or in an article, I don't know, is that he really wanted to show representation of people who have lost mobility, or people who have lost, like, what I mean? Like, who have had difficulties due to the fact that they don't have 100% from their body, right? So that they've lost limbs, or they've gone through accidents, and that's what Snyder wanted to represent. And I thought that was really thoughtful, and also well thought out with this character. Because it's Cyborg, right? And that's what we've dealt with Cyborg in the past. And then you see Bruce Wayne here, and he's just looking rough. This is probably, I would say, maybe also near the beginning of the movie. I'm trying to kind of put the movie together from all the trailers now that we have all of them. I'd say this is because, Bruce is finding people, Bruce is getting his warriors together, so this is probably near the beginning to middle of the movie, if I had to guess. Now here, this is an interesting scene, because you can see this is definitely Aquaman, it's underwater. So you can see that Aquaman is being fought, but what actually is fighting him is Steppenwolf. Now if you guys don't know who Steppenwolf is by now, you haven't done your Justice League research. Again, I don't think people should have to do research when it comes to these movies, but Steppenwolf's not really known to a lot of people. I don't even know that much about Steppenwolf, even, before the movie announced that he was going to be the villain. But you can see that he's fighting Aquaman here, and you can also see, there's another piece of evidence here, is that I've circled it for you, is that that's his axe up there, and I think it's really cool that he let his axe go as he's fighting Aquaman. And you can see it, that's the little light on the end of it. When he waves his axe, you see like this orange light effect, which I think is just super cool. So you can see what that's his axe there, which I thought was really nice. Now this next shot really made me mad, right? Is Cyborg sacrificing himself? Because we already did that with Superman, so I feel like you can't do it again, Snyder, Chris Terrio, Joss Whedon. You can't sacrifice another Justice League member at the end of a movie. No, but I really think that what's happening here is that either Cyborg's opening a boom tube, which is kind of like a teleporting, like a portal, or he's maybe trying to, like, control a mother box, or, like, move a mother box or something. And we'll talk about that in a second. I'll get in more in depth in that later on this breakdown. We gotta talk about Wonder Woman real quick, because she's gone through this before, right? I mean, how many times does she have to fight a ginormous man in armor? I feel like that's crazy. What I don't like about this scene here is that, one, I don't like the parademons, right? Because they're just flying. They're not even shooting at her. They're not doing anything. Maybe because Steppenwolf wanted to fight her one-on-one, right, for honor? But I just think it's weird, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. It looks like an Injustice background. And then two, I think it's really interesting, but I still don't like how you can see Steppenwolf's face here. I think he looks so human. It's weird to me. So maybe that's not finished yet. I do know that this scene is not finished in post. I mean, this scene looks awful. If it is the finished product, I'm going to be really upset, because this scene looks like CGI you'd seen Once Upon a Time, which is a good show. I love Once Upon a Time. But to be honest, they don't have the biggest budget, and that's what this movie scene here looks like, and that's dreadful. Also, you can totally tell that Wonder Woman, it's just, she's not even actually kicking the sword up into her arm. This is so CGI, I mean, you can tell it, right? So this is the only CGI part of the trailer I have problems with. We'll talk about the CGI in a second. And then Ezra Miller, this CGI actually looks really good to me. I really like Ezra Miller here. He looks beautiful, right? I mean, he just looks awesome. Not in like a weird way that I'm saying he looks beautiful, just that I really like how they've designed the suit. I love how they've put him in the scene here. It just looks great. Now let's talk about the CGI, because I know a lot of people have been bugging out about it. So the problem here is that everyone's complaining about the CGI, which I think is ridiculous. I love the CGI in this movie. But the problem is that nobody knows why they're using this much. So if you later on you'll see an image of it, but later on in the image you see that Wonder Woman scene, and we'll get to that, and that's changed. The reason why these CGI scenes are all red and they're just dumping a bunch of money into these scenes is because in Apocalypse, the planet where Darkseid and Steppenwolf come from, it's a volcanic red planet. I mean, the skies are red, there's volcanoes everywhere, lava everywhere, it's a deadly planet. And so in this movie, and you can see here this, in the last trailer, this shot was just a city shot, but now it's like weird and all red. But anyway, and so in this movie, Steppenwolf and the parademons are here to terraform the Earth, which means they're turning the Earth into Apocalypse. So this totally makes sense. Now, I don't like that that's happening because it feels a lot like what happened in Man of Steel, right? Is that Zod was trying to make new Krypton, this is new Apocalypse, it's just kind of repetitive. But I love how this is more of like an actual Earth transformation. So again, that's why this looks like it does, is because Apocalypse looks like this and they're transforming Earth into Apocalypse. So that's why they had to use so much CGI to convince you that Earth is being like terraformed. So if you guys are still lost as to why they're using this much CGI, why it all looks red, that is why. I hope I got that cleared up for you guys. It makes sense, it's in the narrative, it's a whole story point, it complements the story. It makes sense, so that's why I wanted to point it out. And this was just really funny scene here. Ezra Miller and the Bat Signal, I loved it. One, because Ezra Miller played it off so well, right? He's a fabulous actor. But two, because they have changed as well as making it more of a, I don't know how you'd say it, more of a humorous type movie, right? Everyone was really upset about Batman v Superman not being full of humor. And then you can see Wonder Woman's like, you know, can we like trade him out for somebody else, right? I mean, I don't want him on my team. He's kind of immature, right? Anyway, I want to talk about the differences between Marvel and DC. I feel like in Marvel, especially in the first Avengers movie, they really came together without realizing how alone they were. In this movie, in Justice League, the characters are total loners, and they're coming together, and you really don't see that in Avengers, right? You just see the Avengers come together because they have to. Now, the Justice League is doing the same thing, but they really want to save the world, and that's why the backtrack, like the song they used, We Can Be Heroes, it just works here. So I feel like in Avengers, they've never really established how alone the characters were before they became the Avengers, and now Justice League is doing it here. But what did you guys think of the trailer? Comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!